Welcome to Live with Suzi episode. We are very, very pleased and honored once again to have our guest with us today, Mr. Shane Malek, who is a financial consultant and a president of FMIS Inc., who's been talking with us for the past so many months. And this is, believe it or not, part number 16. We do this show for you guys bi-weekly. And Mr. Malek, who has a world of knowledge about the finance, in particular about the retirement plans and how we can save ourselves from headaches once we actually get into the retirement age. He's been telling us, and I would really, really encourage you, if you had not listened to our other parts, to go back and check it out. You can either go to Mr. Malek's website, which is www.fmisinc.com, and or check out our social media sites on Live with Suzi. We're also podcasting all the shows on YouTube. So no excuse if you can't find us and the shows. On that note, if you also would like to talk to Mr. Malek, make an appointment to see him, etc., there's a toll-free number, 1-800-477-1556, that you can also reach out to him. On that note, I'd like to welcome Mr. Malek once again to the show. Thank you for talking to our viewership and our listenerships and sharing the knowledge you have with us.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you, Suzi. Thank you very much for a nice intro, always.
My pleasure.
All of this, I try to sort of share and bring in the stories and, things that happen in everyday's life for people. And maybe it will be useful to some people and make more sense in certain ways. And that's what I tried to do today, because I actually was very surprised earlier today. A client of mine, very dear client, very close to me, actually, I've known these two ladies, twin sisters, for like over 30 years. And anyways, I've gone through marriages, all the happenings in their lives, basically. And then, unfortunately, one had a cancer about a few years ago, survived it. She is or was in remission until yesterday. And strangely enough, she had issues and passed away.
I'm sorry, my condolences.
Thank you. But the reason why I'm talking about these things is because these are the realities of life, and these things happen. And I just want to say that things that you need to sort of prepare yourself with, or certain, I'd like to say preventions in a way. You have to have certain other options, pretty much, to know if any of these events, any of these situations that happen to you, how you can survive it without really having to go through any difficulties. So, for instance, one of the main issues that, like in this case, if one party dies, normally it's having issues with availability of certain immediate funds. For instance, if you're paying mortgage, if the salary isn't going to be there, how are you going to sort of make up for that, and all the other costs that might be involved? Do you have a trust? How is your house registered? Do you have to go through probate? If it's husband and wife, generally there are no issues, but nevertheless, you need to have all that. And obviously, certain other measures, so you have enough funds in situations like that to go through life as is required on a daily basis. So normally this is the case, but in this particular case, in fact, I had just seen them for the reviews that we do annually, but again, to make some changes because of the situation with the illness that she had. So, I mean, luckily we won't have, I should say luckily she's passed away, but we won't have any financial issues, any of those difficulties that most other people have. But you need to understand again that these are the measures you take throughout your living days,
Hmm.
and so that you prepare for days like that. And this was quite shocking to me. But so, for instance, even in this particular case, this lady had a pension. She had not elected or gone into, even though she was at a retirement age, but she had not elected through the pension that she had, that how she's going to utilize this. So this is something that we need to sort of do, because she passed away prior to retirement per se.
Hmm.
So now what options do the beneficiaries have? Are they able to elect an option to receive an income as she would have now that she's not here? So those are the things that we need to sort of understand. That is obviously is going to be there is going to be an income, a pension, but in most cases there is no pension. Most cases have people with 401ks that they have, and the social securities, and the house that they live in, and maybe some investments that they have done throughout their career. So um, I really would love to sort of make sure that you, if whoever you, whatever you do in life, whatever caliber financially you're at, you need to understand that your survivors have to live comfortably and should not go through any issues. Inheritance tax is another thing that
Hmm.
people should understand that is there. Having a life insurance might be beneficial sometimes, again, in your situation, so you won't have to immediately liquid things in order to make, the expenses that come up. So yeah, just to create, so you don't do anything irrational when things like that happen. So I'm really a little bit beside myself, and I'm sorry that I'm doing this, but I just had to say something like this, because these are the realities of lives. It happens
Absolutely.
every
And
day, and
yeah.
unfortunately, in my case, I've been doing this for a long time, meaning that every year without fail, I go at least through 8, 10 of these situations. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the different situations, and then you do the best you can to make sure that your people are ready, your clients are all ready for this events, wives, husbands, children, their heirs, their survivors. All of these people are ready. Everything's in the right place. So
Hmm.
basically, the minimum impact
Right.
by unfortunately death like this.
Hmm.
So one needs to sit down and look at their own situation and see, am I in the right place? If anything happens to me, what will happen to my spouse, to my children, to my asset, um, and then a realistic look, and then see if you're not there. Quite honestly, you need to do something about it. And so these are the important issues that I wanted to say today. I know I'm kind of all over the place here today, but again, wanted to make sure that people are prepared for these kind of unplanned situations that come up in life.
Well said, Mr. Malik. And I might add that unfortunately, unhappy moments, death, sickness happens sooner or later to all of us, I'm afraid. But at least if we are prepared, like you just said beautifully well, at least for the rest of us who are still living after us, we make it not as miserable. Because it's one thing to lose a loved ones, it's another having to um, go through a
To suffer,
difficult
yes,
financial time
absolutely, too,
and suffer in
exactly.
that respect.
And I've
Um,
seen that too. It's not pleasant, Susie. It's
yeah,
really not
I
pleasant.
bet. I bet. So I'm very grateful to you, as difficult as it is for you to go over a life story and a true story, a real life story with us, which just happened to a client of yours. But sharing that with us maybe opens our mind more so and our eyes more so to the
Absolutely.
important fact here that it is a fact of life and we
Yeah.
might as well be prepared. And as prepared as we are, still is very painful. So I can imagine if we are not prepared, how much worse it would be.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's funny saying this now. I was listening to a financial show a while back on an American station, and this guy was saying, similar stuff to what we're discussing, and you were talking to us, except you put it very beautifully, saying it to make life doable again, workable, whatever. He was saying, so at least after doing all these things and be prepared so you can live happily. And I'm like,
right. And
happily was my question.
happily, I don't, well,
I wasn't too sure, but. So.
The idea is to keep the water as calm as possible so you won't have any financial disturbances along the way. Now, obviously, people come and go, people die, either, natural age or illnesses. But you need to be making sure that the heirs, your survivors, are as comfortably kept, at least financially, as possible.
Yeah. So I like your choice of words, comfortably rather than happily, that other financial person was saying. And it just made me laugh, thinking, oh, really? So that they would be happily living after you're gone. That I'm not too sure. But anyway.
Yeah.
So,
but I guess he was also probably experiencing that with his clients somehow. I don't know. But at any rate, here we are at this juncture of life, and I wanted to share that with you. And I thank you for you and your listeners, for your audience to listen to me today.
Absolutely. We thank you once again, Mr. Malek. For those of you who are listening to our podcast, I would announce the toll-free number 1-800-477 1556, and also you can check out the website FMISINC.com, and also there you can check all the other parts of our interviews, today being number 16. Check it out, and Live with Suzi is with you on all social media sites as well as podcasts. Thanks again, Mr. Malek, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, and all my well wishes for you as well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.